Think about the last time you paid for something in cash. Not tapped a card, not clicked a button, actually counted out bills and handed them to someone. If you do that regularly, you probably notice something. It feels different. There is a small but real friction to parting with physical money that simply does not exist when you swipe or tap or click. You pause, even briefly. You feel the transaction in a way that the card does not make you feel it. That feeling has a name. Behavioral economists call it the pain of paying. It is a measurable psychological response to spending money, a mild form of discomfort that your brain produces when it registers that resources are being transferred away. And it turns out that the entire architecture of modern retail, from payment methods to pricing to store layout to digital checkout flows, has been systematically engineered to reduce that pain as much as possible. Because when the pain goes down, spending goes up every time. My name is Arthur. This channel is about how the financial systems around you actually work. Not the version they advertise, but the mechanics underneath. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing it. Now let me show you exactly how retailers use the pain of paying against you and what understanding it is worth in real dollars. The foundational research on pain of paying comes from a 2007 study by Drazen Prelek and Duncan Semester at MIT. Using brain imaging technology, they identified that spending money activates the insula, a region of the brain associated with processing physical pain and disgust. This is not metaphorical. When you spend money, your brain produces a mild pain response. The stronger that response, the less you spend. The weaker it is, the more you spend. Prelek and Semester called this the coupling effect. The tighter the psychological link between spending and receiving, the more the pain of paying acts as a natural brake on consumption. Their most cited experiment involved two groups of participants bidding for tickets to a sold-out sporting event. One group was told they would pay cash. The other was told they would pay by credit card. The credit card group bid, on average, more than twice as much as the cash group for identical tickets. In the same auction, on the same day, the only variable was the payment method. Credit cards doubled what people were willing to spend. This finding has been replicated dozens of times across different contexts, countries, and product categories. A 2016 study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that consumers who paid by credit card rated food items as more desirable and were willing to pay significantly more for the same groceries compared to cash payers. A 2019 analysis by the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco found that the average credit card transaction is 83% higher than the equivalent cash transaction, not 10% higher, not 20% higher, 83% higher. And this gap has grown consistently over time as payment technology has become more frictionless. The mechanism is not complicated once you see it. Cash transactions are painful in both directions simultaneously. You see the money leave, you feel its absence, and you receive the good or service in the same moment. The coupling is tight. Credit card transactions decouple the payment from the receipt. You get the item now. The pain of paying arrives later, muted by time and distance, spread across a monthly statement where each individual charge is just one line among many. Digital payments go further. A tap takes 0.3 seconds and produces no receipt, no visible balance change, and no immediate feedback that anything financial just happened. Amazon's one-click purchasing was not designed for convenience. It was designed to remove every possible friction point from the transaction: the cart review, the confirmation screen, the credit card entry, the shipping address verification. Each of those steps is a moment where the pain of paying has a chance to activate and potentially abort the purchase. One-click purchasing eliminates them all. Amazon patented this system in 1999. The patent was considered so valuable that Apple licensed it for over a year to enable frictionless iTunes purchases. Buy now, pay later services. BNPL products like Afterpay, Klarna, and similar platforms take this principle to its logical extreme. A 2022 study by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that BNPL users spend an average of 41% more per transaction than non-BNPL users on the same products. The mechanism is identical. By splitting a 200 purchase into 450 payments, the pain of paying is divided by 4 at the point of purchase. You are not buying a 200 item. You are buying a 50 item 4 times. The brain responds to the 50, not the 200. Casinos understood this before behavioral economists named it. Chips do not look like money. They are designed not to look like money. The colors, the weight, the feel, all engineered to create psychological distance between the chip and the dollar it represents. This is not accidental. Casino research has consistently shown that gamblers bet more and lose more when using chips than when using cash, and more when using electronic credits than when using chips. Each step away from physical currency reduces the pain of paying and increases consumption. Grocery stores apply the same principle through loyalty cards and store credit. When you pay with a store card, you are not paying with money. You are paying with points, with credits, with a number in an app that does not feel like a balance being reduced. This is the same mechanism as chips. The currency is abstract. The pain is attenuated. The spending increases. Now let us put numbers to this. According to the Federal Reserve's 2023 Diary of Consumer Payment Choice, the average American makes approximately 66 payment transactions per month. The average cash transaction is approximately 22. The average credit card transaction is approximately 46, more than double. If the average American converted just 20 of their monthly credit card transactions to cash, not all of them, just 20, and if the pain of paying effect reduced spending on those transactions by even 25% compared to the card, that is a reduction from 46 to 34, 50 per transaction, 20 transactions. That is 230 per month, 2,760 per year. Invested at 8% annual return from age 30 to 65, that is approximately 452,000. These numbers assume a 25% reduction. The research suggests the actual effect is larger, but even the conservative estimate produces a number most people would find significant. The most practical response to the pain of paying research is not to stop using credit cards entirely. The rewards, the purchase protection, the fraud liability limits are all genuinely valuable. The practical response is to understand when the pain reduction is working against you specifically. There are 3 categories of spending where payment friction reduction causes the most damage. The first is impulse purchases. Unplanned acquisitions that occur because a frictionless payment method removed the pause that would have allowed reconsideration. The second is subscription and recurring charges. As discussed, charges that bill automatically produce zero pain of paying and therefore zero natural break on the spending. The third is digital and app-based purchasing. In-app purchases, streaming upgrades, one-click reorders, where the payment UI has been specifically designed to minimize all friction between desire and transaction. For these 3 categories, friction is your friend. Adding steps back into the process, requiring yourself to open a second app to check a balance before buying, maintaining a note of monthly subscription totals, setting a 24-hour rule on any unplanned purchase above a specific threshold, artificially restores some of the pain of paying that the retailer removed. This is not about budgeting. It is about restoring a natural psychological mechanism that your spending environment has been engineered to suppress. The friction is not inconvenience. The friction is the break. And in a retail environment that has spent decades and billions of dollars removing every break from the system, the most powerful financial tool available to you is adding a little deliberate inconvenience back. The retailers know exactly what they are doing. The payment processing industry knows exactly what they are doing. The BNPL companies know exactly what they are doing. They are not making your life easier. They are reducing the pain of paying because reducing the pain of paying increases their revenue. Understanding that is not cynicism. It is arithmetic. You already felt the difference between cash and a card. Now you know what that difference is worth. There is one more dimension to this that goes beyond individual transactions: the cumulative effect of pain reduction across an entire financial life. The pain of paying functions as a feedback system. When spending feels real, when the money leaving your hand is tangible and immediate, you develop an accurate internal sense of what things cost and how quickly resources deplete. People who use cash regularly tend to have more accurate estimates of their monthly spending than people who use cards exclusively, not because they are more careful or disciplined, but because their brains received consistent feedback from hundreds of slightly painful transactions. The pain calibrated their intuitions. People who use primarily digital and card-based payments often find, when they do an audit of their actual spending, that the total is substantially higher than their estimate. This is not carelessness. This is the predictable result of spending without feedback. The pain of paying is information. When it is removed, the information is removed with it. And financial decisions made without feedback tend to drift upward over time, not dramatically, but consistently in the same direction month after month. This is why the subscription economy was designed the way it was. This is why one-click purchasing exists. This is why BNPL products frame $200 as 4 payments of $50. This is why casino chips are not dollars. Every one of these designs is optimizing for the same outcome: reduce the feedback, reduce the pain, increase the spend. The countermeasure is feedback, not restriction, not punishment, not deprivation. Feedback. Knowing what you spent, as a total, regularly, reviewing the bank statement monthly, not to feel bad about it, but to recalibrate the intuitions that frictionless payment has been slowly miscalibrating. This is the same function that the pain of paying used to perform automatically. The audit is how you restore it deliberately. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Marketing Research found that consumers who received real-time spending notifications spent approximately 12% less than a control group over a 6-month period. They did not receive advice. They did not receive a budget. They received information, the same information that cash transactions had always delivered in real time. The feedback alone, delivered at the point of awareness, was worth a 12% reduction in spending. 12% of $273 per month. The average subscription spending is 32. 12% of the average American's total monthly discretionary spending of approximately $1,500 is $180 per month, $2,160 per year. Invested at 8% from age 30 to 65, that is approximately $354,000. From feedback alone, not discipline, not sacrifice, just information delivered at the right moment. Retailers remove the information because it costs them revenue. You can put it back. The mechanism is simple. Know what you spent, not someday, regularly, because the pain of paying was never really about pain. It was about awareness. And awareness, in a financial environment engineered to prevent it, is worth exactly as much as it was always worth, which turns out to be quite a lot. Let me bring all of the numbers together one more time, because the picture they paint is clearer when they are placed side by side. The MIT research, credit card bids were more than twice as high as cash bids for identical items. The Federal Reserve data, the average credit card transaction is 83% higher than the average cash transaction. The CFPB study, BNPL users spend 41% more per transaction than non-BNPL users on the same products. The Journal of Marketing Research, real-time spending notifications reduce spending by approximately 12%. None of these are small effects. They are large, consistent, replicated findings across different methodologies, different countries, and different time periods. The pain of paying is not a quirk. It is a significant force in consumer behavior, and the retail industry has spent decades and billions of dollars learning how to neutralize it. The practical response is not to live like it is 1987 and pay for everything in cash. It is to understand which payment methods and which purchasing contexts are most likely to suppress your natural feedback mechanism and to add friction back selectively in those contexts. Know what you spent. Review it regularly. Set a pause on unplanned purchases above a threshold. Track subscriptions as a total, not as individual charges. These are not financial strategies in the traditional sense. They are feedback restoration systems. They exist to give you back information that the payment industry removed because that information was reducing their revenue. The retailers know this. Now you do too. You already felt the difference between cash and a card. Now you know what it is worth, and now you know what to do about it.